Well, hi friends, my name is Malcolm and I've been teaching PT since a very long time now, many years now actually, and I've trained almost thousands of people for PTE, roughly around 5,000 people in the last 2 years alone. Now, as you can see on the screen, you can see my scorecard. I myself have taken PT definitely, and I've got a score of a perfect 90. A score of a perfect 90, as you can see on the screen, means 90, 90, 90, and 90. And many of my students also get a score of 90 and a perfect 90 as well. Just to let you know, in the year 2018 itself, almost I think 20 of my students have got scores of 90 each. So roughly in 5 months, 20 students getting scores of 90, 90, 90, 90, which means per month roughly 4 students are getting a score of 90, which is pretty good, I think, by any standards. Well, now, friends, coming back to the purpose of making my channel, and as you can see, the name of my channel is PTE 90 by Malcolm. Well, many times people have many questions, many myths about PTE, how the algorithm works, how the software works, and obviously, since it's a computerized test, well, if you understand how the software scores you, you can definitely understand what to do in order to get that score of 90. And I always tell my students, and I'll tell you as well, that the only target we should have is a score of 90 each. Now, let's come to the specific purpose of making this video, friends. And the purpose of today's video is understanding the score which we get in spelling in the scorecard. Now, the thing is, most of us have been getting a very less score in spelling, especially after 18th March 2018, the day when PT added many new questions in its own question bank, which is a good thing, by the way, because many times people are saying that the same questions kept on coming in the exam. Well, that's off the topic right now. Let's come back to the topic. The problem is that many people have been getting scores of as low as 20, 13, and 15 and 20s in spellings. Now, how is that possible? I mean, it's very bewildering, when somebody gets a very high score, let's say somebody even gets a 90 in writing and everything is 90, but the score in spelling is as low as, 20. How can we justify it? So basically, as I've said, I've written the same thing on the screen that since 18th of March 2018, you might have seen that many people have been getting really poor scores in spelling in the scorecard, despite getting really high scores in writing. And let me also share with you that even before 18th of March, this used to happen. This problem was there. And yes, people used to get 90 in writing, 90 in everything, in all their scores, except spelling, which could have been a ridiculously low score, such as 19 as well. So I have also mailed Pearson once about it, and they gave me a standard reply as well, that since we have an automated scoring system, there's nothing much we can do. It's a computerized system. And so there may be few inconsistencies in the way the score is devised or the score is scored, frankly. It's also written in the scorecard that there may be some inconsistencies in the score because it's a computerized system as well. So now let me show you an example of my student, one of my many students who has got 90 each, frankly, as I said. As you can see, her name is Sanya. Now we can see in her scorecard, her overall score to start with is 90. Her listening score is 90, her reading score is 90, her speaking is 90, her writing score is 90. The main thing we're talking about today is writing. Her writing score is 90 as well. But just see her score in spelling. It's just 21, pretty much unimaginable by somebody who gets a 90, as you can see in writing. Now, obviously, it means that despite getting 90 in writing, the score in spelling is just 21, or the reverse, that just with a score of 21 in spelling, somebody is still getting a 90 in writing. So firstly, the question is that will a low score in spelling affect your writing score? What do you think? Well, depends. Like, if you're making actual mistakes of typing when you're typing in the exam, yes, definitely, it will affect your writing score, definitely. But as you can see in Sanya's case, her score in spelling is just 21 out of 90, but still her writing score is 90, which means her writing score has not been affected by her spelling score. Which means what? Obviously, it means that we need to find out what the problem is, because definitely there is a problem for us, the test taker, as to understand what exactly is Pearson doing with the scoring. And the thing is that how does a person get all 90s and still such a poor score in spelling? So there definitely has to be some glitch, some problem, some technical, let's say, issue with the software. Let's put it just with the word glitch. So now the thing is that before we understand what the glitch is, let's go to the Enabling Skills Scores guideline, which Pearson has clearly slated in its website. So as you can read over here, spelling, Pearson writes, writing of words according to the spelling rules of the language. All national variations are considered correct, but one spelling convention should be used consistently in a given response. Now, the meaning of one spelling convention in a response means that either you use British English in your spellings or you use American English convention. And as you can read over here, all national variations are considered correct, but as long as you stick to one. For example, let's say you're writing an essay. Now in the essay, let's say you want to write the word globalization somewhere. And again, let's say in the same essay, you also want to write the word nationalization. Now globalization and nationalization both can be written with an S and a Z. But let's say you write globalization with an S and the word nationalization with a Z, then obviously we are not following the guideline which Pearson gives, that stick to only one convention in any one task. Again, this does not necessarily mean that you stick to only one type of English throughout the test. Yes, preferably it will be a good thing, but specifically PT says in a given response. You can see it's written clearly over here where my cursor is, in a given response. Now, the problem or the funny thing is what? Despite this, despite following this, many of the students don't get a 90 in spelling. And it's very surprising, a bit ridiculous to say the least, that when somebody gets a 90 in writing, the score in spelling, I think should have been at least, something like 80, 85, not as low as 21, as you saw in Sonia's case. So now, coming to the problem, what exactly is the problem? So since the past month, I've been experimenting a lot, and I've been suggesting my students only one thing, that do this. Actually, not since a month, more than a month actually, but I did not make a video back then. The purpose of making the video now is that I tried it on many of my students, with many of my students, frankly, and it is giving them a perfect score of 90 in spelling. So what is the problem now? And you'll be very surprised to find out that the problem, at least to me, it seems to be, and of course, these are my own views. Nobody has asked me to make this video, but definitely I stick to my views. And as I said, I always try my best to help my students. And I'm sure you all will help too with my thing, which I'm going to share next. So the thing is, according to me at least, as I've written over here, apparently there's a problem with using the backspace key. Yes, this key in the keyboard, if you use it while you're editing anything you type, well, I think that's a problem. And Pearson also knows very well that it's very difficult to write, let's say, a summary or an essay without using the backspace key. Of course, you need to write around 5 to 75 words for the writing summary, which is called summarized written text. You need to write 200 to 300 words for the essay. And you need to write again between 50 to 70 words for the task called summarized spoken text, the first task in listening. And now the problem is that if you keep on pressing backspace, which even myself, I do it many times because we are used to hitting the backspace key to edit whatever you write. The problem is very well, you might not see a 90 on your scorecard. You might see something like 80, 70. It's very random. Believe me, guys, it's very random the way the score comes out. I've seen almost more than 10,000 scorecards in my life. And every time the score in spelling, just surprises you. You think you've seen everything, and the next score which comes again is very surprising. And again, as I've said before, I've said it already, even if you get a low score in spelling, it will not necessarily impact your score in writing. But if you don't touch backspace, even my students have tried it, a couple of them in the last 1 month alone, and many of them have got a score of 90 in spelling as well. So now I'll tell you what you need to do. You don't need to touch the backspace key. But now again, just imagine it's as good as saying that, Malcolm, you need to write something, but you can't use your hand. And let's say I'm pretty good at painting with my right hand. Somebody tells me you need to paint, but with your left hand, and in just 20 minutes. So now that's a problem. By instinct, our hand goes to the backspace key to correct whatever you type, obviously. So then, what is the solution? Well, the solution is this, which I'm writing now, which I'll show you now. Very simple. Don't hit this key. And as you can see, it's a grenade over here. I tried to make it a bit funny, a bit symbolic. The problem is if you hit this key, as I'm suspecting, and I'm pretty sure I am right, at least I hope I'm right in my analysis. If you're going to hit this backspace key, the score and spelling is going to come down. So what do you do then? Simple, don't hit the backspace key. Instead of using backspace, just select the word you wish to change and overwrite it. That's it. Just select the word you wish to change and overwrite it. So what does it mean? Let me show you what it means. For example, let's say I've got this essay in front of me. And as you can see, this essay is about age discrimination. So let's say I want to write something like this. Age discrimination is rampant in today's world. Full stop. Now let's say I want to write a lengthier sentence than this to be my first sentence. What do I do then? Very simple, as I said. I'll just select the words which I don't want and I'll overwrite them, which means I'll retype what I want to type now, which means I'll write something like age discrimination is rampant in the world we live in. So that's all. Pretty simple, right? I just selected what I didn't want to write and I again rewrote what I wanted to write. So that's it. So again, guys, it's a very simple thing you'll have to do. Instead of using backspace, just select the word you wish to change and overwrite it. That's it. But now, obviously, even you are thinking what I'm thinking, and I know what you're thinking, that if I keep on overwriting everything I do, if I don't hit backspace, then what am I going to do? I mean, what's the problem with it? And obviously the problem is, and the only problem with doing so again and again is, as you can see over here, is it is going to take a lot of time, a hell lot of time it's going to take. Yeah, of course, it's going to take a lot of time. But as I said, it's a trade-off. If you want to see that 90 in your scorecard in spelling, well, try doing what I'm asking you to. Obviously, there's no harm in doing it. The only thing is you'll have to manage. So even when you practice writing essays, writing summaries, the last 5 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes, just keep it for editing. And except that, don't hit the backspace key. That's it. Well, it's going to take some time getting used to it, but once you get used to it, it will work in your favor. And again, let me tell you, friends, this thing might work only if you don't hit backspace even once. Yes, even if you press this twice or thrice, it's not going to work after that. But just try to control that urge of hitting backspace. Just train your mind, strengthen it, that whatever happens, I'm not going to touch backspace. And well, you'll see, surprisingly, you'll see that you'll get a 90 in spelling. If it's not a 90, it's still going to be a huge improvement over your past score. Definitely won't be in the 20s and 30s. It's going to touch something like 79, 80. For sure, it's going to be more than that, which means maybe you might have made one or two mistakes actually also. But if you don't make even a single mistake in spelling, if you're really confident about your spellings, and if you stick to only one convention, that is British or English, in any particular task, believe me, friends, you will see a 90 in spelling. And as I've said, I've tried it on many people, with many of my students as well, and they are very happy to show me that yes, it is working. They're getting 90 in their scorecard. So friends, that's about it in today's video. Many of you in Melbourne might already know me. Many of you might in India might also know me. But yes, the purpose of this video was to make you aware that why your score in spelling is not reaching 90. Well, I hope you liked the video, and I hope, genuinely wish that you really get your desired score in your next attempt itself. And if you want more videos from me, just let me know which video you wished it to be. And I still know that many of you might still find it a bit bizarre what I'm telling right now, that just hitting backspace, and by not hitting backspace, I'll get 90. I know you're thinking that, still you're thinking it right now. But believe me, friends, very high chances you will get a very high score in spelling. So no harm trying it. Just try it and let me know how it goes. All right, just try it, and you can comment it definitely in the comment section. And very soon I'll be coming out with one more of my videos as well. Well, it's going to be very informative, and it will let you know what you need to do in a real exam. And many of the things it will cover are really important. You'll understand how a person who gets 90 in PT generally solves a paper, solves a test. So as I said, I've got a score of 90 each, and I want all of you to get a score of 90 each as well. And that's why generally I tell all my students, the only target you need to aim is 90, 90, 90, 90. So thank you very much, friends, for joining me in the video. And yes, you can also follow me on Instagram. My ID is Malcolm_PTE 90909090. Yes, and I'll be more than happy if you join me over there as well. So thank you and have a good night. Thank you.